This one's for all my pale princesses. Alright, so today's video is going to be a little bit different. We're going back to the Tailored Talks. So if you saw my current foundation favorites for fair skin, which if you haven't, I will link it right here and it'll open a new window. I mentioned maybe possibly doing a video about how to love your fair skin, and a lot of people were interested in that, and so now we're here. I don't really have any direction I'm going in this video. I'm literally just gonna talk and share my opinion, and there we go. So we kind of have this societal belief that tan skin or being bronze or being, you know, sun-kissed is how we are supposed to be. That's like the in thing. I'm not saying that people who do have darker complexions are not beautiful. I don't think there's one kind of beautiful, and that's kind of the whole point of this. Growing up, I always thought of having pale skin as this negative thing. I wanted to be tan like my friends. I didn't understand why I couldn't get tan. I'd always burn and I would get freckles and they would just disappear back into white and not turn into a tan. And everyone, like friends, family members, everyone used to comment and be like, why don't you get a tan? Why don't you get some sun? And it's just a bunch of stuff that builds up and you begin to think that your fair skin is not beautiful. I remember having this conversation with my aunt when I was like 13 and her telling me like one day you'll love your fair skin, you'll embrace it, and she was totally right. I see shit all of the time on Instagram, on Facebook, whatever. Just yesterday I was on Instagram and there was like a group picture of girls and someone commented saying something like, the chick in the front needs to tan those like pale ass legs. I don't know where this whole pale is bad idea came from, but who are you to tell someone that pale isn't beautiful? If you have something that sets you apart from everyone else, then that's great. That's what makes us different. I've gotten comments saying like, why don't you go out in the sun? Have you ever heard of self-tanner? I make a conscious decision to embrace my fair skin. It's not saying that I don't use self-tanner every once in a while, because in the summer, sometimes I do use self-tanner. You know, if you're gonna be wearing a swimsuit and stuff, sometimes I wanna be tan, and that's okay. But I'm also okay with my fair skin, and I actually prefer it to when I'm self-tan. So how I kind of like shifted my thinking about this, I remember being in high school, I used to wear self-tanner every day. I hated my fair skin. One day I was so sick of putting on self-tanner that I Googled like how to love your pale skin, something like that. And I remember all of these blog posts and stuff started coming up, and there were like girls, there were guys commenting, and I remember reading like a bunch of guys that were like, I actually prefer women with fair skin, and like that thought never really clicked in my head because we're so ingrained to think that like tan is beautiful, tan is what you should be. I just remember being like thoroughly shocked that there were people out there that liked fair skin and thought it was like attractive and beautiful. Not saying that you need a male's approval to love your own skin. I'm just saying that's something in my history or in my experience that helps me realize that it was an okay thing. I don't think it was until college, until I really like actually preferred my fair skin. When I went to Jordan last year, having pale skin is like this godsend thing. In general, people don't really have fair skin there, so it's something that is unique and is very like beautiful to them. I think being in the Middle East really made me realize that my culture tells me one thing, and being with different people and in another culture, there's like different values of what is beautiful. Kind of just seeing how in the US how we value more tan skin, and then being somewhere completely different and they value the complete opposite. And I know it's not just Jordan, it's a lot of different countries. One culture isn't right and one culture isn't wrong. There's just different views, and there isn't one definition of beauty. And I think that is kind of the point of all of this, is no matter if you are naturally tan or if you naturally have fair skin, who is anyone to tell you that what you're born with isn't beautiful? If you look at my videos before Jordan, I'm all self-tanned and bronzed up and everything. Didn't put any self-tanner on in Jordan after I kind of had this like epiphany. All of my videos since then, I have been completely in my own skin, fair skin, and this is me. So I know like a lot of people were commenting and being like, you know, people just tell me all of the time or make comments about how my fair skin is ugly or how I need to change it or whatever. And my advice to you would be to ignore them. Who are they to tell you whether your skin's beautiful or not? You need to find that happiness within yourself and accept the skin that you were born with. You can be beautiful and have fair skin. You can be confident and have fair skin. You can love your skin and have pale skin. I hope that helps some of you guys. If you have more questions, leave them down below. I'm pretty good about responding to your guys' comments, so leave them down below and we can talk. So if you liked this video and it was helpful for you, be sure to give it a thumbs up button. Be sure to give it a thumbs up so I know. Shout out to all my pale princesses. Love you guys.